Sports Journey. Sports Journey Network.
But hey, what's up, Redskin Nation? What's going on? This is Lorenzo Alexander and my boy Kedric Golston. Of course, our man Lake Lewis here on Capital Punishment Sports Journey Broadcasting Network. Remember, you can always follow us at Golston64, at One Man Gang 97, and of course, we also got that Sports Journey. Also, my man right here, what's your Twitter?
At Lake Lewis.
At Lake Lewis. Okay, great. At Lake Lewis. I'll let you plug your own.
Yes. I don't like doing that. It's your show.
You can plug your own, though. You know, the people want to hear from you, too, all the time.
At Lake Lewis.
But it's been good. We've had about a couple of weeks off right now. People been traveling, just kind of been busy, moving. You know, our man Lake is coming down our way a lot closer, a lot more convenient for the growth of our company. So it's definitely going to be a good future for Sports Journey, I think. But it's been a great kind of 2 weeks off. A lot of things going on. I know my man was down in Charlotte, Valdez.
Definitely, in I guess Morganton. And this year we wasn't in Valdez. We were at East Burke High School. So I guess it's all Burke County. But,
okay, yeah.
Did a little football camp down there, a little over 150 kids, ages 6 to 11. So we had a good time. As you can see, I got the tan line from the sunglasses.
Yeah, you got dark.
You didn't have a hat on? You know for that.
I didn't have the hat just because I'm trying to soak up the vitamin D, burn the carbs.
Right.
But, now, all in all, it was a great camp. Had one of my teammates from Georgia, Gerald, came back this year. And it was a fun time. Anytime you can give something back to the community, one that I really have nothing to do with, but because of relationships I've gotten throughout the years, went down there to help Miss Francina out with the camp she's trying to do.
Awesome. Did Stedman show up again?
Stedman did not show up this year. It was a little bit last year, as you were down there, Chris Wilson was down there. It was a big production, and it was good first year event. This year it was 2 to 3 day event, so it was scaled down a little bit. We did the opening. Well, we really didn't even have any opening ceremonies, but we did the closing ceremonies right there on the track.
Cool.
After the last day. The Carolina Panthers Play 60 bus came out there one of the days. And
any of the players come on?
None of the players came out. The 2 interns came in the media relations department, and it was a great time. They had great drills set up. It's just fun time. Kids at that age, they see you with a Carolina Panthers shirt on, they automatically assume you play. The running backs coach from the Carolina Panthers was out there. So
who was that?
I forget his name. I think it was his first year there with him. But it was great to see the excitement of the kids. And at the end of the camp, they gave him a Cam Newton Under Armour shirt that he signed. It was a really nice shirt. So appreciate that for coming out and helping out. So the kids were ecstatic. And, anytime you can see the light hit on in some of their eyes is always a positive thing.
Cool.
You guys working, man.
Always. You got to keep you busy. I got a camp coming up, too.
Yeah, coming up.
Yeah, I'm cutting out tomorrow, though. I'm going down or back to the West Coast, the best coast. California, Oakland, the
East
Bay. Yes.
East Coast
having our 2-day camp out there. It's going to be pretty fun. I think this is our 5th year holding it, going back to Oakland and giving a free youth camp for the kids. This year we're doing a little bit different. We're going to split up the middle school and elementary school kids from the high school kids and kind of – because, kids are dealing with different issues at different stages in their lives. And so it's going to be fun, and it makes it easier on us as far as, teaching kids. You want to teach more fundamentals, I guess, with age-appropriate drills versus the high school. So it should be fun. We have a couple people coming out. My boy Courtney Brown will be out there. He played with the New York Giants. We got a couple of the Stanford kids coming out as well that's going to participate. So it's going to be a fun event, and I always got a lot of my old school teammates coming out. And it's going to be fun. We're going to get down and dirty and teach them a little bit of how to play football as well as some life skills.
I tell you, I heard something this past week. One of the pastors in the community came there, and he said something that was real profound. He said, we're not trying to reach kids anymore. We're trying to rescue them.
Right.
Because of everything that they're dealing with. We all know with the internet and bullying and drugs and things like that they're exposed to. We have to rescue these kids because they're just put into situations that they can't get out of with their own, and so you got to help them to work through those situations. So that's something that stuck to me where we're trying to rescue these kids. They're no longer trying to reach them.
Especially being parents. I mean, we see it kind of firsthand, as far as all the pressures and everything they have to deal with. And we have both parents in the household, and it's still hard for these kids, to still make correct decisions, find themselves in the right atmosphere, so I only can imagine, kids that are maybe from broken homes, maybe a grandparent living with a grandparent or living with a single mom or a single dad. It's just so so much harder, to kind of keep tabs on them and give them everything that they need. So you definitely want to give as much support, and I think that's why we're all so involved in the community, trying to provide those extra outlets and support systems for these kids. So it's great, I just, like you said, just want to continue to affect the community in a positive way.
It's a thin line between being successful and ending up in jail.
Oh, yeah, it's very thin, right.
I think we've all walked that line. We've all done things in our past that could have ended us up in jail or just a lot different than where we are now, ultimately with the grace of God that he's put on our lives. But it's a thin line, and we've all crossed it at some point, and luckily we're here today. But to try to get those kids to always choose the other side of the tracks to make those right decisions,
right.
Those things are going to help them not to just grow up, but to grow in maturity and understand that responsibility is coming. So prepare yourself for it.
Did you get his same speech to LBJ? You must have gave this same speech to LBJ, man. Because that boy, because them lights came on.
I wasn't going to bring it up. It's old news now. LeBron James has won his first world championship.
Right.
Well, look, before we get into it, I gotta give you your due, man, because I was taking. I was going at him.
Well, I think the main thing about it is 2 weeks ago, and even talking about in the finals, Eastern Conference Finals. Y'all thought I was crazy. Y'all didn't think they were going to come out of the Boston series, and you definitely didn't think. The truth be told, I don't think the world thought that the Heat were going to do what they did.
Not the way they did it.
No,
they dismantled Oklahoma City after Game 1.
But I think if the Heat played their best,
I would say after Game 2. Because Game 2, they still had a chance.
They had a chance in Game 3, too.
Yeah, they played some close games. It wasn't just the last one was a blowout.
But this series was about LeBron.
Right.
Well, not only that, but this is what I think. I think because LeBron won it, but you have to say that the Thunder might have quit a little bit.
Quit?
No, I don't think
in elimination game, they got blew out.
No.
Miami had one of them.
Did you see them? Did you see? You can't account for Mike Miller coming out to shoot the way he shot.
I understand that, but
you can't account for these people that you're not expecting to score like this.
That's why I think you got to kind of give Eric Spoelstra some credit.
Oh, of course.
Understanding that, Battier in that lineup was a totally different monster. You talking about the defensive effort he would give, the presence.
Yeah.
You talking about a guy that you can count on, whereas when he scored 17 in the first game, they said, oh, that's not going to happen. You talking about a Duke guy, and Duke builds their program off of consistent players, never too high, never too low. So, but, the Heat won it. I think LeBron James did grow up. He should give me a percentage of something he won because that night I said he was going to grow up.
How many people saying that now?
I don't want nothing for him. I'm happy for him because now I think that's put to bed, and now I really think he's going to take that next level into what we've all think he should have been years ago.
I think we saw that in the finals.
Well, but I think, but now people are going to start to say, well, now the next one is wins number 2 coming, wins 3 coming. Yeah. You're talking about a guy that has to win, in my opinion, 2 more, at least 3 total championships.
He got to win about 4 or 5. Man, he said he's going to win 8.
Yeah, but we say things all the time.
He knows that was idiotic to say that.
Oh, he said he's definitely come out and has done a great job with his PR campaign after the games and changing his image as far as how people look.
He's humble. He's
and
trying to be
he's admitted
humble.
to some of his mistakes that he made.
He
did a great job of doing that.
I'm giving him that.
If we would have been as knuckleheaded as we used to be, even in the pros,
I don't think I was a knucklehead in the pros.
Dealing with some of the success, dealing with all that was coming at him, you're going to make mistakes. He's growing up from them. We can even –
keep in mind at 18. At 18, that's a big difference,
we can even bring it back home.
Well, he didn't say this when he was 18. He said it when he was 27, 28.
But like I said before, you don't grow up because of your age. You grow up between going through things and responding the right way. You can tell that over the past, let's just say 6 or 7 weeks, or even let's just go this whole season, he's taking steps in the right direction.
Yeah.
Whether he agrees with them or not, sometimes you say things just to say them because it's the politically correct thing to do.
Right.
I still don't think he cares about the decision. He knows that upset and offended a lot of people, so he apologized for it, which is the mature thing to do. Because,
I think he also realizes, too, that right now the NBA needs him more than I think he needs them. And the reason why I say that is because you see Kobe Bryant getting older now. The league clearly had an opportunity to market Oklahoma City, Miami, and more importantly, Kevin Durant versus LeBron James, because those are two guys,
up and coming,
taking
the reins over.
But let's face it, when you talked about the two of them, it was always LeBron being the brash, kind of outspoken one, and Kevin Durant being the more humble guy with the cerebral approach to his game. Well, I think now LeBron realizes that he's a champion now, and you said it yourself. There's a way you have to carry yourself now. You can't be a champion and an idiot. I mean, you got to be a champion and be great graceful.
You can.
But how many champions, if you think about it, have you seen just really go by the wayside after they won a championship? Normally, you pick up yourself even more. Now, I mean, it's the way you carry yourself.
I think people I'm not going to say people kind of give you the benefit of the doubt once you're a champion. I kind of bring it back to Coach Gibbs when Coach Gibbs, and I love Coach Gibbs, a great football coach with more football. He will forget more football than I will ever know. But when he made a decision that was questionable, he had 3 Super Bowls to back it up.
Right.
When Coach Zorn,
you got that with your coach now, with Shanahan.
But when Coach Zorn made a decision, he didn't have any credibility because he was a first, second-year head coach. People could just attack him, and he had nothing to hold him off.
Right.
Well, it's just like Mike Shanahan, Coach Shanahan, with his quarterback carousel last year, and he put his namesake out on that. Hey, look, I'm going with John Beck and Rex Grossman, and I know Rex still your teammate. But now you get RG3, you win a couple games, that's all forgotten because of those Super Bowls.
Exactly. I mean, but that's with anything. I mean, you always, like you're saying, benefit of doubt. If you're a winner, a proven winner, people are going to say, okay, well, maybe he knows something I don't know. I got 2 championships. I don't have nothing, so maybe he knows a little bit more football than I do, which he does.
Well, in fairness to him, and I'll say this to people out there, you guys were looking pretty good in the first 3-4 games until that offensive line got hurt.
Well, yeah, I mean, that happens to everybody, though. It's all about consistency and putting a roster together that has great depth on it, which I think he's been trying to do. And he's even admitted to himself it takes time to do that. Obviously, when he first got here, we had a veteran team. We had some older guys. And over a period of time, he's had to bring in a little bit more youth, a little bit more consistency and depth. And it's taken a while because when you have – everybody has guys go down. It's do you have these guys, lineman number 6, 7, and 8, can they come in and do a great job as far as protecting your quarterback and opening up holes for the running game? And I think he's starting to do that and getting in guys that really fit his mold and scheme. Because, be honest, before you had guys that he was trying to fit in, but they really didn't belong in this.
Ingredients in the pot.
Right, yeah, it just didn't work. Not that they weren't great athletes, they just didn't work for this system, and that's what he's had to try to do offensively and defensively so that we can be a more consistent team and be more productive, especially in November and December. I don't care about going 3-1 in early.
First
right,
month.
who cares?
You want to be 3-1 in December.
Right, exactly.
You want to put together 3 or 4 3-1s throughout the year. I mean, you look at the season in quarters with 16 games. 4 quarters being the first quarter. Like I said, we need the second half of the season. It doesn't really. I mean, the first 8 games are all gravy. The teams that are going to make deep playoff runs win in November and December. And you can look over. I mean, look at the Giants last year. They got hot at the right time, and just even the Packers the year they won the Super Bowl. So that's something that that needs to be done. But back to LeBron.
I think this is perfect segment because
no. Listen,
ingredients.
Back to LeBron. They just won a championship with Dwayne Wade's knee is messed up. It just came out today that he's going to have surgery on that knee. You talking about a guy that's going to come back we don't know how long he wasn't healthy for, but we do know it wasn't Dwayne Wade. And I gave him a lot of riffraff on the show. The guy was banged up. He didn't have the explosiveness in his knee. A healthy Dwayne Wade next year. LeBron James, if he stays healthy. Then you got, reports coming out that Ray Allen and Steve Nash want to go sign with him.
Yeah, we was actually talking about that at workout today. You saw Ray Allen was the only cat that stayed out there after the series, shaking hands, like, what's up, man, what's going on? Hey, man, I'm a free agent.
Hook me up.
I think we can do great things. If I come here, I can be that Mike Miller type role, but more consistent. You had to be hollering at him.
I'm a big Ray Allen fan, big Steve Nash fan.
Right.
But I just saw this team win the championship without them. So clearly with them, they'll be a better, more formidable team. But at whose expense?
But at the same token, you talking about – I think they said it best, and we kind of taking football and basketball. the New York Giants were 9-7. They won a Super Bowl. But I bet you Jerry Reese and their front office guys are saying, we have holes we need to fill.
Right.
We Super Bowl champs, but let's not kid ourselves. We have to continue to get better. You either get better or you get worse. You never stay the same. And the same guys you're praising now, 10 games ago, we were calling them garbage, and they needed different. It was only 3 guys on that team.
They showed up at the right time.
Yeah, I mean,
that's true.
You called it. But I like Cole. I like him a lot, actually.
But over
is
Nash?
He a star? No.
That's what I'm saying.
Nash is top 5 all-time point guard.
But that doesn't mean that he's going to fit in that team. I'm a Steve Nash fan too, but you don't want to. Whereas you want to get better, you don't want to change the whole dynamic of the team.
And that's where I'm going.
But Steve Nash is a guy that is smart enough and I think intelligent enough to understand what his role is going to be. I mean, both those guys coming here, they know they're in it to win a championship and not be the star player, be that marquee. They're not coming to be part of the new big 3 along with LeBron. They're probably going to be more role players coming off the bench.
Let's face it, Steve Nash trying to get a championship.
Right, exactly.
You would,
exactly.
Of course.
He's made his money.
Of course. Hall of Fame. He's trying to get a ring to go into the Hall of Fame.
That's what I think. So, but with that said, we'll be right back after these messages. This is Sports Journey, Capital Punishment featuring Lorenzo Alexander, my man, KG the Bigger Figure. Yes, sir.
Sports Journey. Sports Journey Network.
Imagine with a simple push of a button, you could be on your way to getting firm, sculpted abs and a sexy waistline with the Contour Core Sculpting System. It's the breakthrough technology that requires no machines, no getting on the floor, no stress, and no strain.
Contour.
The Contour is the real deal.
The secret is Contour's exclusive auto-active muscle toning technology, the digital breakthrough that automatically targets all your abdominal muscles, including your upper abs, lower abs, obliques, and even that stubborn lower belly. Thermographic testing proves Contour activates your entire core. The Contour Core Sculpting System comes with a one-size-fits-all Contour Core Belt, electronic controller with custom digital settings, batteries, and a 1-year warranty, plus an instructional guide and sensible eating plan. And it's all yours to try for 30 days for just $14.95. There's never been an easier, more effective way to get great-looking abs. So call and order right now.
Let me tell you some of the reasons people get into trouble with credit cards. A job loss or salary cut, an unexpected expense, a divorce. As founder of Consolidated Credit, I understand that credit card problems are not about overspending. It's about emergencies and unexpected situations. There's a lot of ways to get into trouble with debt. There's only one trusted way to get out. Consolidated Credit.
Call Consolidated Credit now.
1-800-445-1912.
Attention if you have diabetes.
Hello, I'm Alan Thicke. As the father of a child with diabetes, it's important that I keep up to date with the latest in treatments and technology. That's why I'm happy to tell you about a breakthrough in diabetes care through CCS Medical. You don't need to stick your fingers anymore. This new meter allows you to test on your arm, so it's virtually pain-free. Plus, it uses gold test strips. Real laser-etched gold in every strip provides the ideal testing surface for one of the most accurate readings possible. Best of all, CCS Medical can send you this meter at no cost. With CCS Medical, they deliver your diabetes supplies to your home. They work with Medicare or your insurance to process the paperwork. They even have nurses certified in diabetes available to answer questions. And for a limited time, CCS Medical will also send you a diabetes ID bracelet. All this from a company trusted and recommended by thousands of doctors around the country. Call CCS Medical today.
Car owners, does your vehicle have less than 120,000 miles on it? Is it less than 10 years old? Is your current auto warranty about to expire? Well, Cover America Auto Care has a very special offer just for you. With current economic conditions causing bankruptcies and a downturn in new car sales, Cover America Auto Care now offers inexpensive mechanical breakdown coverage direct to the public. You can save thousands of dollars on auto repairs. A toll-free line has been made available so car owners can call and get a free no-obligation quote. This auto protection is backed by an A-rated insurance carrier. Plus, you get a claims department that has an A-plus rating from the Better Business Bureau. 24-hour emergency roadside assistance is also included. You will be amazed at how much you can save on future car repair bills. So call for your free, no-obligation quote now. Do not wait. Get covered today and rest easy tonight.
Hi, I'm Dr. Wendy Jacobs of Jacobs Chiropractic, located in South Arlington, Virginia. We are a primarily sports chiropractic office, but we take care of all sorts of ailments and disorders that people have, injuries. I've been a chiropractor for 16 years. I was an athletic trainer for 14 years prior to that, so I have a vast knowledge and experience level dealing with sports injuries and other types of injuries.
Sports Journey. Sports Journey Network.
Welcome you all back to Capital Punish. Make sure you check us out at sportsjourney.com. You can also follow us at Sports Journey and at One Man Gang and at Golston64 and then at Lake Lewis, right?
Mm-hmm. I appreciate that.
Definitely, big shout out to LeBron. We're going to close the door on that. Basketball season is over with. We're going to talk about the top 100 players in the game. We finished up the list last night, excuse me.
Are we giving a real list?
Well, we're going to talk about their list, and then we're going to talk about
their list.
Our list. We might tweak it. We might debate about the top 4 or 5
Number one is the same
guys.
in my mind. It don't really matter. So,
Nevertheless, we're going to bring up the lone Redskin, London Fletcher. In my opinion, he should be a lot higher.
Of course.
If you look at his body of work throughout the years, his body of work this year,
right,
and the level that he plays at. But, you kind of got to give a shout-out to the Cal guy.
Let me introduce the Cal guy. You don't even like Cal guys, man. You don't even like West Coast. All this Pac-10 bias in here, Pac-12, whatever you want to call it.
Okay, we don't talk about that.
So you didn't even have enough energy with it, man. My man, A-Rod, Aaron Rodgers, top of the list, quarterback, Green Bay Packers, Super Bowl champion, number 1 on the list, from Butte College, from Cal. D-Bears, Golden Bear, number 1 on the list. That's what we're talking about. Repping all day, baby. Repping all day. That's how we keep it real.
Some would say he's a product of that junior college he went to 2 years.
I don't care what they say. He went to Cal for 2, number 5 in the country. Should have been the number 1 pick with the 49ers, but that's another story.
No, because, I disagree with that.
He was way better than Alex Smith coming out.
No, hear me out. I disagree with that. No. You want to know why? No, not that he ended up in the best situation for him. He got in a stable organization.
Yeah.
But he made that.
I didn't say he was in the better situation with the 49ers. I said he should have been drafted by the 49ers, number 1, over Alex Smith. He was a better quarterback than Alex Smith.
Without question.
Yes, he was.
I tell you what, I wasn't really into the
better system. As far as pro-level system, especially what the 49ers like to do, run the ball. That's all we used to do.
Yeah,
run the ball, play action.
Urban Meyer system was not.
You talking about when you look at Alex Smith, and we all know it's a beauty contest. You talking about a guy that's, 6'5", 240?
Okay.
Yeah, but he played. But in Urban Meyer's system, it's still more of a unconventional, at times, wishbone type thing.
That's not true. So you looking at what he did with Tebow. If you even go back to Urban Meyer,
he did in Utah.
When he had Chris Leak, it was a lot of throwing in there. And I don't really remember when Alex Smith was there because I was right in the middle of my college thing.
I
really didn't know what was going on. But Urban Meyer does a great job of, you still got to throw the ball. It's a system, but a 7 is a 7, a fly is a fly, and a curl is a curl.
A-Rod was better, top to bottom. And I'm biased. I'm admit to it.
He's proven that. Listen, I say this.
Well, some guys talking on the radio talking about
tougher conference too. I know Utah's part of it now, but before it was big difference.
Well, but
But if
that's the case, then Leftwich and Ben Roethlisberger played in what conference is Miami?
USA
or the WAC. Like, so, I mean, you can't really – this day and age, you got late bloomers. You got people that play in small schools.
Right.
And so we can't really say that – I mean, Jyree Evans, some would say the best guard in the NFL, played at –
Fletch played at a small school.
But what I'm saying is at any time will those guys be number one, the number one overall pick? No. No.
Well,
Alex Smith was the number one overall pick coming from a smaller conference.
What was he in? What was that?
The Mountain West.
Mountain West. Well, they've got a lot of quarterbacks coming out of Mountain West. The BYU, the Steve Youngs, and all those guys.
All those guys.
I'm out of guys.
Beck.
Listen,
I'm just naming guys. I'm not clowning Beck.
Beck was that boy when he came out.
That's why I'm naming Beck.
But was he was that boy, but what was he drafted at?
He was drafted as the first or second pick of the second round.
That's my point. My point is listen, Alex Smith went number one.
But at the same token, was A-Rod the 22nd pick? Nobody else needed a quarter. I mean, the Redskins moved up to get Jason Campbell at what?
Nah, see, our point is, you know who needed a quarter?
Year.
No, our point is
6.
Jason Campbell went 6. Went 7.
No.
Because Carlos was
No, I'm sorry. Carlos went 7. Jason went
maybe 14.
Second round.
No, Jason was a first round.
Yeah, he's first round.
They moved back into the first round.
Moved back in the first round. Yeah. My point, but that's my point. Who needed a quarterback? Who needed a quarterback more, the Redskins or San Francisco? Seriously, you played here then. Who needed a quarterback more?
None of us was here. They got drafted a year before we got here.
But who needed a quarterback more, though?
I don't even
who was the quarterback? Brunell was the quarterback.
Brunell was the quarterback, and
Jeff Garcia may have been the quarterback for.
He might have been phasing out. He might not have been there
because Jason was on the bench for 2-3 years before he really.
No, because when I got here in 07, he played. So he 06.
He sat on
2 years.
2 years. He sat on the bench for 2 years.
We got here in 06. He started 4th or 5th week of my rookie year.
Yeah, he was playing.
He was starting because we came out struggling. We were 2-2. Mark Brunell broke the record for most consecutive completions in Houston with 23
dump downs.
Listen, a record's a record.
I know.
A record's a record. So
dump downs.
We won the
John
game.
Beck broke that this year, didn't he?
No. The running back broke.
Oh, but he was dump downs though. You said records.
We won the game. We won the game.
Yeah,
we won the game.
I'm just messing.
Yeah, I know you were. It's all good. You made me forget what I was talking about.
We talking about A-Rod.
We talking about A-Rod being number one. Exactly.
There was no comparisons between the two of them. And they found it. What it was?
It's easy to say that now, though. It's easy because hindsight's 20/20. You got 3 or 4 years of work with A-Rod, and you got Alex Smith, which he's coming on.
They're figuring out what's best works for him. I wouldn't say he's coming on.
Listen, I'm not knocking
He's playing
him.
Great within that system.
But it's
small ball.
Okay, but
Harbaugh's got him doing what he needs to do.
But you look at Ben Roethlisberger.
Mm-hmm.
He won his first Super Bowl managing games.
He did.
You played to your strengths. Obviously, there's defense out there.
I'm not knocking Alex Smith, but all I'm saying is if Alex Smith was at Cal, he would have been the number one pick in the draft. Make no mistake, he still would have been the number one pick.
If Alex Smith went to Cal?
If he was doing what Aaron Rodgers had done at Cal, if you already say it was an eye contest, sexy and all that stuff, he still would have been the number one pick and more overall because of where he played. Cal.
I think we're more tainted because A-Rod didn't go number 2. You got to look at it. Who needed quarterbacks back then?
I understand.
San Francisco more than anybody.
And they got a quarterback. And if you remember that draft, it was like whoever goes because it was arguable that A-Rod might go number 1.
Who was the second guy? Who was the second guy in that second quarterback? Because it was a lot of commotion about that.
It had to be Jason.
No, it wasn't. Jason was third. Jason was third. Yeah, he was third.
Was he?
Yeah, he was third.
I don't remember.
I don't remember who.
Nevertheless,
was either.
It was. You knew who it was. It was maybe 2 quarterbacks that was going to go, and then after that, you knew it was going to be a long time because nobody else needed quarterbacks. Nobody even thought that Green Bay was going to draft A-Rod because they had Favre.
You were sitting in that room
all
night.
But he was sitting in there
all night.
But I mean, he's made the most of it. And
what is this? 8 years later,
he's played the last 3.
3. He won it.
No, his first year. The first year they didn't make the playoffs, so this is 4 years starting.
Yeah.
His second year they won the Super Bowl, so he's going into his 4th year.
Playing?
Starting.
Playing.
Yeah. Starting.
Okay. Yeah, but I mean, some of the things he does, and we haven't. When we played against him, he hadn't found his groove yet. When we beat him 2 years ago, he was still putting up numbers, but it wasn't. You know,
we had a lot of. They had a lot of injuries, a lot of drop balls. We got to him. We had a couple of things.
You hurt Jermichael Finley in the game.
That's what I'm saying.
But I remember just from the scouting report, they used to talk about, with Jermichael Finley up the seam and how he could put that ball
on that seam.
Anywhere. He could put it on your back shoulder. He could put it over you. And you remember watching the tape like, man, now you look at that, and it's just like routine throws that he makes. I mean, he makes hard throws look like you're throwing a 5-yard
There was
curl.
one play in that game that I do remember now that you're talking about throws. James, the wide receiver, big wide receiver.
I know you're talking about 81.
Finley?
No. James Jones dropped a bomb on you guys.
I mean, it happens.
But I'm saying Rodgers put the ball
where
he
had a whole bunch of drops
be.
in there. That's what I'm saying. They had a ton of drops in that game because he was hot going into halftime.
See, I look at Aaron Rodgers as a guy that, when you talk about the number one player in the NFL, I mean, clearly, in my opinion, he's like one of my favorite players. But is he really number one right now, or is he like number 2, 3, ascending to number one?
Yeah, behind who though?
Like Drew Brees, behind Tom Brady. Well, I mean, those guys are still body of work. They're still getting it done.
But we're talking. Well, yeah, body of work, and I guess Brees just at the
Brady was in the Super Bowl last year.
Brady was in the Super Bowl.
Brady.
Yeah, but see, I think Brady. You look at Brady, and in my opinion, Brady is he's putting the ball on the money, but he's throwing it to wide open guys.
And he's throwing it to guys that have yards after the catch.
And then you're not taking nothing away from Brady.
No.
He's a top 10 quarterback.
But what about Brees though?
When you get up there, you just toss the Brees.
Why isn't he getting his due though?
It's 1A, 1B.
Why isn't Brees really getting? Because whenever you mention top quarterback, it was either Peyton Manning, it was Tom Brady, now Aaron Rodgers. Like he's jumped Drew Brees.
You got to think though, Brady is almost expected out of Brady.
Mm-hmm.
And then A-Rod, what he did last year, he set records, and he ended up the season with like a 102 passer rating.
But Drew Brees broke every record last year.
But statistically, he had, besides passing yards, A-Rod beat him out in every statistic. Besides
touchdown,
accuracy, all
that
stuff.
But Drew Brees, I mean, to me, they're the same guy. I think that A-Rod might be a little bit more shifty as far as running the football.
Right.
But, I mean, they're both snipers.
But is it because Drew Brees looks unconventional?
A-Rod looks unconventional.
Because what, he's 6'1"?
Yeah, but I mean,
how tall is A-Rod?
He's 6'3", 6'3", 6'4". That's a big dude. I'm talking about A-Rod's big dude.
Yeah, he's about 6'3".
He's not a big dude.
No, but I'm saying he's a prototypical quarterback.
He's about 220. I mean, and then you got Brees that's what, 6 feet? 6'1".
Yeah, but I mean,
he's productive. I'm just saying.
But what I'm saying is, if he was
All-American quarterback,
what I'm saying is, if he was 6'2", 6'3", with the numbers he has now, would we be having this conversation about Aaron?
I don't think. First of all,
he got a Super Bowl.
They got it right.
They both got Super Bowl.
A-Rod.
He got Super Bowl with New Orleans, though.
They was good.
No, but what I'm saying is, Green Bay is historical. Aaron Rodgers is adding to that legacy. Drew Brees created a whole legacy.
You don't add that into it because he's with an organization that has won.
No, I'm not
and
knocking
an organization
him,
that's never really won.
But this guy took a more-bound franchise to the Super Bowl.
It was more about the situation because of Katrina and all that.
You talking about Aaron Rodgers might be the best quarterback ever to play in Green Bay.
I mean, I agree.
You're talking about Favre. Who was there before him? The other dude.
I mean, you had Lynn Dickey and Bart Starr and all those guys, but Brett Favre was the blueprint for Green Bay,
right?
And I think Aaron Rodgers has surpassed that already.
I think so. He definitely doesn't have the body of work that Favre has, but just what he's done the last 2 years.
Got one Super Bowl. How many does Brett have?
One. Brett's got 2. He played in 2.
Played in 2.
Played in 2. Got one though.
Well, but nevertheless, I don't disagree with that. But see, Drew Brees and A-Rod definitely 1A, 1B. Calvin Johnson, and I'm going to say I'm biased because we went to the same high school. He did go to Georgia Tech, so we kind of lost it there. Mm-hmm. But to me, he's the most dominant player in the NFL.
I'll give you that. I don't know if the top 100 is the most dominant, but he probably is the most dominant player in the league. You can't do nothing with him.
You can. You can double team them. You can try to press them. You can zone them.
More dominant than a healthy Adrian Peterson?
Yes. Yes. Because I've
stopped
Adrian I've seen.
Man, y'all, that's why he rehabbing right now.
We've stopped him.
I'm just talking about what I heard.
Right,
I'm talking about holding him to a low amount of rushing yards.
And Calvin Johnson, you can't stop him.
I don't think we've ever stopped
No team
him.
can scheme for that. He's just too big.
Well, I tell you this. We stopped him when I was at Georgia and he was at Tech.
Oh, man.
I'm just telling you. Was there high-stress situations?
Bad referees. No, I'm just kidding.
No. We stopped. Now, he got his pass interference calls, but he wasn't going to catch that ball in the end zone.
Oh, yeah. Okay, well, that's a little something else.
But
don't tell him Georgia now.
What you mean? Listen, take the PI. Coach said, hey, you can't listen. The guy's 6'6". He's a basketball 6'6".
He is
240 pounds.
No, he's a big dude.
We even had a big corner on him at Georgia at like 6'1".
Right.
And he's got a 45-inch vert. You can't stop that. So you tackle him before the ball.
Calvin Johnson to me is actually.
Because college is only 15 yards, so you take that.
Hey. Calvin Johnson is almost a tight end playing wide receiver. I mean, he's right on that borderline weight wise.
Calvin is 2 years younger than me, and I can remember my high school coach would tell you he's probably the dumbest high school coach in Georgia. That's what he said, because when Calvin was a sophomore. JR went to Stanford.
Right.
And we had another running back go to Middle Tennessee and another one go to a 1AA school. We ran the ball 35 times a game.
I remember JR.
We only threw the ball.
Nice. Who? The JR. That dude was nice.
JR Lemon?
He was nice.
We only threw the ball 2 or 3 times a game because my coach said there's 3 things that can happen, and 2 of them are bad. So we're going to run the football.
Did you have a quarterback that could throw? Get it out there because you don't have to be accurate with him.
You could get it out there, but now I had 2 Coach Walkers. I had Big Walker and Little Walker. Little Walker was the son. Big Walker ended up retiring and leaving. Then Little Walker started slinging that thing.
Right.
But I can remember coming back and watching a high school game, and I seen Calvin Johnson. He looks the exact same, 6'6", 235, 240 in high school. And he's literally taking DBs and running them. That show, the Blind Side,
right.
where Michael Orr's taking them to the fence,
right.
which is probably like a movie thing. Mm-hmm. He's literally doing that to these corners. He's taking them all the way to the end zone, the back of the end zone.
Right.
And it's just like – and you remember his first game at Tech when he was playing Clemson and he caught those balls one-handed behind his back and things like that. So to me, the only way you can stop him is by hurting somebody else. Is with sacking the quarterback.
Yeah, right. That's it. You got to take Stafford out.
That's the only way you can do that.
But you said it yourself. He played well with
Sean Hill.
Non-Matt Staffords. How about
Sean
that?
Hill.
Non-Matt Stafford.
What's the other kid that was in that ran out of bounds against the Vikings and took the safety? Because they was backed up. Remember, he was trying to sprint out and he stepped out of bounds.
Embarrassed.
Started with an O.
Remember.
He played for the Colts last year.
Oslowski. Dan Oslowski.
Is that who that is?
Yeah,
okay.
He's always put up numbers. And that's why, to me, whereas the top 100 players, you can look at it from a bunch of different perspectives. Some would say,
right.
Peyton Manning should be number 1 because you look at what he meant to his team.
But you need to see if he can do it at the level again.
Well, his team. Everything was awful on Indy last year. Like you can look at
special teams has always been awful. Always.
But they was even worse without him. So you talking about a guy
that had more opportunities.
That affected
had
all
to punt more.
Yeah. More opportunities to show how bad they were. That's
a part of it. I mean, you look at great defenses.
Right.
They're good defenses.
Right.
But they're only playing 60 snaps a game.
Right. If that.
If that. So.
But where is he on the list though?
Who?
Peyton.
In
your mind, is he?
Well, you can't put him on the list because he didn't play. That'd be a disservice to the guys that did play.
Is Eli high or is
Eli
that about
was
right?
What number?
31.
31.
Where was he? Was he somewhere in there?
He's in like 34, 35. He needs to be higher than that. Much higher.
He had a turning point last year. He is definitely high. He has
guy's
2
two-time
Super
Super Bowl
now.
winner.
But the Super Bowl. So is guys on that team.
But he was a Super Bowl
He's a
quarterback last year, though, during last year's season.
I tell you this, you can't take nothing away from Eli. He stepped up in the Super Bowl and made plays. Some of those that passed.
He stepped up all year last year, not just the Super Bowl.
But historically, the Giants play great defense. They get after the passer. They run the football. Last year, they threw the ball more. And even the year after they won the Super Bowl, when they were 13 and something, they ended up losing in the second round of playoffs.
Right.
I mean, he's put up great numbers.
Eli Manning's top 10 player in the NFL today.
Top 10 player?
Gotta be.
That's
I
mean,
guess.
how?
You gotta put him there.
You got to. Okay, you gonna put him in front of Brady?
No.
You gonna put him in front of
Drew Brees? No. Aaron Rodgers? No. But the quarterback spot is always gonna take 5 or 6.
See, that's what they were saying. Though. You can't. It's hard to say quarterbacks in there because they touch the ball every single down. So you almost gotta either throw them out and do their own list, and do the other top. Because I mean, you should have, of course, top 100 players. You're gonna have the top quarterbacks up there because they're the most dynamic because they touch the ball every single time.
Of teams.
You know what though, and Zoe, we talked about this before we came on the show. The NFL Network promotes this as top 100 players voted by the players.
No way. No way.
And what have they done this 2 years in a row?
Yeah,
I haven't filled out a ballot once. Now, I know I'm just one man on one team, old country boy from Georgia. But last I checked, I've been in the NFL for 6 years.
Right.
And I haven't voted, and I know, but I think there's a lot of guys out there, and I think if you look at a guy, and we're going to talk about this later, a guy in London Fletcher who was number 89. I think if you really would
That's
vote.
comical.
If you really would vote with everybody in the league, he would be a lot higher.
Top 30.
He might not be the sexiest guy. You might not, he might not be. Well, actually, he has started dancing a little bit more.
I don't like that, by the way. Y'all need to tell him to stop doing that.
No, listen. Let that man do what he wants to do.
He got to do it.
He's a throwback, man. Don't do that.
Well, no, if you look in London when they used to call him ... Back in St. Louis, he used to get a little wild and crazy, too.
He was, like 1 or 2 years, in the league.
But London has a Super Bowl ring.
He does,
but that's a lot of people don't realize that. See, to me, for him to be in the 89.
Well, that's because he was on an offensive team.
Well, no, it's because he played in Buffalo for a while.
Well, he was on the greatest show on turf. That's the team he was on.
But
so they went to 2.
because can you even name 2 other guys on that defense?
Carter, Kenyon Carter.
DeMarco Favre.
Well, DeMarco Favre, and then they had wasn't Light there?
Leonard Little.
Todd Light, was he?
Leonard Little.
Yeah, the corner.
He
Leonard Little.
Aeneas Williams he was on that team, I believe. Corner.
I think he came the next year.
Oh, did he? He came after.
He came. They won it, then they went back, and he was on that team. Lost.
I've heard London talk about it, and that defense was pretty good. Those defenses were good.
Listen, to win a Super Bowl, your defense has to play a part somewhere. Somewhere along the line, the defense has to take over from the offense at some point. It may not be every game, but if you guys go to the Super Bowl this year, and everyone's going to say it's because you got RG3, but no, it's going to be because the defense put RG3 in positions to be successful.
No, I mean, defense wins championships, whether it's creating turnovers or just not giving up yardage or points.
Well, I give you guys the Redskins and your historians as well. You look at the Redskins of '91, perhaps one of the greatest offenses. They were throwing.
Is that the one that put up all them records, scoring records?
56 on the Falcons.
Right. Yeah, but they also.
But that defense was knocking
got
people out.
72 turnovers.
Right.
They were plus 72.
That's my point. Right. But you don't remember that team for that defense at all.
I do.
Most people remember Mark Rippon. First thing they think about him throwing the ball, playoff game against Atlanta, they put up 56.
Most people remember MC Hammer dancing.
Well, they remember him. They remember him running out of DC upset.
Right.
But yeah, you think of. I don't think you think of too many Super Bowl teams defense first, unless it's just a defense that mauls you. Again, a defense that mauls you.
Pittsburgh,
the Bears. But you just mentioned the 3 probably greatest defenses of all time.
Well, what's another one though that may not be?
Niners, the 49ers Super Bowl champions.
I'm going to say the Giants of when they beat the Patriots. That defense shut down one of the greatest offenses on record, the greatest offense of all time.
Right.
Yeah, they did.
But I would say that, like I said, obviously I'm a 49ers fan, but those defenses got overshadowed by Steve Young, Montana, the Rices, the Ricky Waters, the William Floyds. You would never,
What about Pittsburgh from 4 years ago?
Pittsburgh historically is always
defense.
Top 5 defense.
Right. I would say defense. That's a defensive team.
New Orleans defense won the Super Bowl against the Colts. It wasn't no offense.
Yeah, they got it. They forced Peyton Manning to that turnover. Well, you can say
for a touchdown.
You can say the special teams, they got that onside
kick too.
So, that's defense.
Ultimately, it's
that's defense to me.
At some point, it's going to take all three phases of a team throughout the season to win a game. So when we get back, we just talked about the top 100 players. We're going to talk about another list that came out that got one of my partners upset. Make sure to check us out at sportsjourney.com, at Sports Journey, at One Man Gang, and at Golston64.
Sports Journey. Sports Journey Network.
This is not a workout. This is a revolution. This is Shake Weight for men, and it's going to kick your butt.
Whew, that's it.
In just 6 minutes. Guaranteed. Ordinary weights isolate one muscle in one direction, but Shake Weight harnesses the power of dynamic inertia to totally redefine strength training. As you shake, the weights at each end fire and recoil rapidly. This piston-like motion sends a shockwave of energy that forces your muscles to contract as many as 240 times a minute. So you build definition, size, and strength fast. And now this technological breakthrough in strength training can be yours for just $29.95. Shake Weight is science fact, not fiction. A leading biomechanics research center proved that 6 minutes with the Shake Weight burns as much muscle energy as 42 with a standard dumbbell. You get ripped, defined, and stronger, fast, guaranteed. Call and order now, and we'll also send you this 6-minute upper body workout DVD. It's everything you need to add size, definition, and strengthen your chest, triceps, biceps, and shoulders. Technology is all about packing mega performance in less space, right? Shake Weight proves it. That's why it comes with this ironclad kick butt guarantee. Do the Shake Weight workout just once. If your arms, chest, and shoulders aren't on fire in just 6 minutes, return it for a 100% refund. We'll even pay return shipping.
Whew, that's it.
3 exercises, 6 minutes, and the faster you shake, the more intense and challenging your workout. Think you can handle it? Then call now and build muscle and definition in just 6 minutes a day with Shake Weight for Men.
Have you ever had an idea for an invention or new product? Bill Schaefer, one of the inventors of Whammo's new Splash Wash, did. He came up with the idea while watching his children play one hot summer afternoon. Bill invented a car wash for kids. Ride through it, run through it. InventHelp submitted the Splash Wash to Whammo, the makers of childhood favorites like the Frisbee, Hula Hoop, and Slip and Slide. If you have an invention you would like to try to patent and submit to corporations and want free information that explains how InventHelp may be able to assist you, call now. InventHelp is America's largest invention company with sales offices in over 50 cities nationwide. Call InventHelp today for free information. Bill Schaefer made a financial gain on the Splash Wash. However, most inventions are not successful, and Bill's experience is not typical of what inventors can expect.
For your free inventor's information, call 1-800-619-2363. That's 1-800-619-2363.
Car owners, does your vehicle have less than 120,000 miles on it? Is it less than 10 years old? Is your current auto warranty about to expire? Well, Cover America Auto Care has a very special offer just for you. With current economic conditions causing bankruptcies and a downturn in new car sales, Cover America Auto Care now offers inexpensive mechanical breakdown coverage direct to the public. You can save thousands of dollars on auto repairs. A toll-free line has been made available so car owners can call and get a free no-obligation quote. This auto protection is backed by an A-rated insurance carrier. Plus, you get a claims department that has an A-plus rating from the Better Business Bureau. 24-hour emergency roadside assistance is also included. You will be amazed at how much you can save on future car repair bills. So call for your free, no-obligation quote now. Do not wait. Get covered today and rest easy tonight.
Let me tell you some of the reasons people get into trouble with credit cards. A job loss or salary cut, an unexpected expense, a divorce, a business loss, or even helping a family member or friend in need. As founder of Consolidated Credit, I understand that credit card problems are not about overspending. It's about emergencies and unexpected situations. For nearly 2 decades, Consolidated Credit has helped over 5 million people just like you. The options for getting out of debt have never been better. We can reduce your interest rates and cut your payments up to 50%. The time to call Consolidated Credit is now. There's a lot of ways to get into trouble with debt. There's only one trusted way to get out. Consolidated Credit. When credit card debt is the problem, we're the solution.
Call Consolidated Credit now.
Call 1-800-445-1912. That's 1-800-445-1912.
You're listening to the Sports Journey Broadcast Network.
What's up? Welcome back to Sports Journey, Capital Punishment, featuring Lorenzo Alexander, my man Kedric Golston, here with my man Lake Lewis as well. Gonna continue our conversation about this top 100 players, especially my man London. I actually had a tweet out today because I'm playing inside. I'm transitioning now, so I just kind of sent a tweet out to say who's the top, and I said excluding London, who's like the top 3 linebackers playing today in the game. So I can kind of watch them because I like to try to learn my craft by guys that are already doing it. So, guys were hitting up, sending in like Vilma and my man Patrick Willis, Beeson, Ray, and then some crazy dude just hit me and was like, London, why'd you London can't be mentioned in the same breath as this guy. And I was just saying, excluding London.
Why not?
And that's what I couldn't figure out. So he hit me back and said he's anchored one of the top defensive ever, which is okay, which is probably true.
Talking about Ray Lewis?
Ray Lewis. And then he has 10 Pro Bowls, or not 10 Pro Bowls, 10 All-Pros.
And he's got like 12 or 13 Pro Bowls, Ray.
Right. And then he was like, what was the other one?
I think it's 14 to be exact.
He had 40 sacks, 30 interceptions, which is productivity. But that's when you break it down, he's played, 15 years? It's about 3 and 3 each year, which I guess
still,
is
though,
great.
It's never been done.
It's pretty impressive.
But again, I can ask you the same question. You guys are his teammates, obviously.
And then I go to Fletch. He's not as flashy as Ray. Ray puts on a show. But if you look at London's stats over the last 10 years,
they're better.
They're better than Ray's. Maybe not interceptions
not
and stuff.
Interceptions.
Tackles, what linebackers are supposed to be doing, tackles. And I don't even know about interceptions, but maybe forced fumbles, I think he's higher. But he can definitely, in my mind, when I watch film and what they bring to the table and what they're able to do, especially these last 3 or 4 years, Fletch doesn't come off the field. Ray comes off the field on third downs. So with 2 older linebackers, who do I pick? Who do I bring to the table? Somebody that can play every down, or some guy that has to come off just because later in his career he can't do the same type of thing.
I think we all have the utmost respect for Ray Lewis.
I'm not dogging Ray by any means. He's probably one of the greatest linebackers ever.
Growing up,
the squirrel had everybody doing the squirrel.
When we go play Baltimore, we up there to win, but we watch Ray Lewis come out the tunnel because that's something.
I know I did last year.
I watched you come out
as a kid. That's somebody you like, man. Ray Lewis coming out the tunnel. And
right.
You're mad when they introduce the offense and you playing in Baltimore.
Right.
All that being said, I think Ray understands at this point in his career that, they might have a younger guy that, can cover better than him. And I think it's almost a selfless thing on his part to say, okay, I'll come off the field. But all that being said, we know that London, it's not that we don't have somebody that could possibly maybe even bring in another safety or something like that to cover. He's doing his job, and he's doing it at a high level. For my money, and just looking at, somebody that really has not been on. Ray Lewis has won a Super Bowl. So is London has won a Super Bowl. Statistically, Ray has probably been on more top 10 defenses than London, but London has his fair share.
Right.
He's had 2 or 3, maybe 4 of them here in Washington.
I know he was a couple
top
Buffalo.
Defense. He's had some defenses, and I don't know what St. Louis, but
they both got a ring.
Yeah, we said that they both got a ring.
But let me ask you.
My issue wasn't who was better. My issue was that
why wasn't London in that category?
He couldn't be, mentioned in the same breath as Ray. I was like, are you serious?
I
Do you watch football?
London Fletcher has to be a Hall of Famer.
See, that's going to be the next big question.
He has to be, because if you look at – you're talking about a guy that is the leading tackler of the decade.
But again –
I think he if you look at his statistics – he's beaten guys out by 20 tackles every year over the past 10 years.
The guy that he always would, I guess you would say, not in his mind, but in the media world, in our world, he would take a back seat to was always Urlacher. And his numbers dwarf his numbers.
Right. Urlacher's does? Or
London? No. London's destroyed Urlacher's.
But you're talking about a guy, Urlacher, being a safety.
On the Bears.
On the Bears. He is a great runner. I mean, he is a great linebacker. You're talking about a guy that has taken interceptions 60, 70 yards for touchdowns.
Right.
Jumped over line of scrimmages to make plays. But you're talking about a guy that's 6'4". He looks the part.
But see, that's the hints. We were talking about Drew Brees earlier.
Right.
If Drew Brees was 6'3", would we be talking about him being 1A or 1B or whatever?
Maybe if he looked more the part. If London was 6'4",
if London would be that guy.
Right, he would be that guy. I mean, of course, because he'd be more the prototype. He wouldn't be a guy. And I think a lot of it has to start where you come out of. Come out of John Carroll, working your way up versus Ray coming out of Miami, especially when he was at Miami and the people that he was coming out with. You have a different starting point. So his whole career has kind of been overshadowed, even with the Pro Bowls and the All Pros. You get overshadowed, especially if somebody has a name in ESPN or the media is pushing somebie. Those guys don't get all that.
Or if you're from the West Coast.
But listen, no.
Well,
we're going to talk about that in a little bit because I ain't buying that.
Ain't buying what?
Maybe 30, 40 years ago.
Ain't buying what?
Now you done made me forget my
ain't buying what?
And I see where it's going. And if you want to take it there, we getting back to London. Okay, this is what we're going to say.
It's the truth.
This is what
people say it all the time.
I'll say this. Maybe that was true 15, 20 years ago.
About what?
Let me tell him.
About London?
What
are you talking about?
We're talking about
the West Coast,
East Coast.
Well, no. Let me tell him what was told to me last night.
The people still.
We got to. They don't know what we talked about. We got to set it.
Just let me set it up.
Okay, we changed the thing. We getting away from London.
We coming back to London.
We're gonna say because it's gonna get good.
You done forced my hand.
Right.
All right. This is what happened. Shout out to Jeff Little out there on the left coast, on the West Coast, as he always reminds me. He's does a daily show here on the network.
Mm-hmm.
He'll be on tonight. From 9 to 12 East Coast time, 6 to 9 West Coast time. He always tells me to make sure I say that.
Right.
Because he calls me, and we're talking, and he told me to say, "What's up to Zoe?" And he said, "I remember when Zoe was at Cal. He said he was a beast." And I'm like, "Really?" He's like, "Yeah." He said, "Man," he said, "we thought he got done wrong out here." So I'm like, "In what way?" He said, "His draft status." He said that guy should have been one of the top backers taken, the defensive end, if I'm not mistaken. Tackle. So he said that this guy was balling. He said, "But you know how you guys are out there on the East Coast. It's a bias." And I'm like, "You really feel like that?" And he said, "Yeah, we do."
I mean, it is what it is. I'm not mad at it.
I'll say this.
See, I'm in the place where I need to be, so I'm way over past that.
We're all in the place we need to be.
Yeah,
but I could say the same thing coming out of Georgia. I mean, you're talking about a guy.
You got drafted, though.
I got drafted. Yes, I did. And when you really think about it, whether you a first-round draft pick or a seventh-round draft pick, that team has anywhere from let's just say 7 picks. They got that they decide to choose you as one of them.
Exactly.
So that's a very high honor. And the older I get, the more I appreciate it.
But not taking anything away from you're self-made. You've worked hard. But do you think getting drafted, even if it was in the 7th round, was because Georgia, that Georgia name was with you?
I would say that's true for a couple years, Georgia's defensive lineman, I mean, of course, we had Seymour Stroud, a couple other guys, but we had Jonathan Sullivan come out in 2002, and then we didn't have a defensive lineman get drafted until it was me in 2006.
Okay.
Who'd you have between that gap?
Nobody. I mean, we had a couple guys that was solid players at Georgia who signed free agent deals and ended up didn't make it.
Right.
But I would say that would be true about the West Coast bias, maybe 20, 25 years ago. But I'll say this.
They don't even watch the game. They come home too late. They don't watch them.
But I don't – but
you don't see it.
Do you think that people from the East Coast watch those 11 o'clock games that are on the East Coast?
Yeah, I used to get up and watch it.
I'll watch them all.
Okay, but I'll say this, but the fans don't decide who gets drafted and where they get drafted. You have regional scouts that are from California. All y'all's games are on TV.
Some of them, yeah.
But, I mean, we all have local, like we have Fox South or –
True.
But I tell you this, like when we used to play Vanderbilt, it used to come on Jefferson Pilot Sports. Y'all don't know what that is.
Oh, I do.
But that's
I mean,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. But that game was at 11 o'clock, so there's exposure out there. I mean, I can think of and Zoe, and I'll say this, Zoe is one of the best football players I've been around, one of the best men I've been around. But if you just want to, just for sake of argument, y'all have had 3 or 4 defensive linemen get drafted in the first round over the past couple of years.
Yeah, we have.
So to say that there's a bias, you can't.
They're
really
first rounders. There's a slight bias.
What your bias may have been because you played at Cal when that offense was putting 50 on people. So maybe people
but how many
at
were you giving up though?
What?
But the point is, it doesn't.
Hold on. We was a nice
don't get
defense.
No,
nice.
No. When your offense scores 50 points a game, you're going to give up some numbers.
That year we goose egged a couple of teams. We goose egged both Arizona teams that year.
But you talking about both Arizona teams.
They were good, though. They were solid teams.
He don't respect
Arizona. That's what I'm talking about. That's the bias I'm talking about right there.
That's an SEC bias.
Oh, he goes to Dominic D
there.
tackle. Oh, but he goes to Cal.
That's an SEC bias.
Look at that, man. It was you just proved it to me by just
no.
You can watch a game, but if you are just like with LeBron. I can watch LeBron play. He did a great job, but I'm still like, I'm not buying into it quite yet. So with that same mindset you just said, I said we goose egg both Arizona schools, and you said, it's Arizona. That same mindset goes along with the scouting department, head coaches, people making decisions. He goes to that, that West Coast school, and most of those guys are older generation guys anyway, so they already have a stigma about West Coast,
but there's tons
players in football and teams.
There's tons of players that come out of the Pac-10 or what is it now, the Pac-13 or
12,
Pac-12.
Yeah,
there's players that come out of there year in and year out. There's players that come out of the Big 12, which they don't play defense either in the Big 12.
Of course, you got your SCs, obviously, because that's a perennial school. Yeah. Everybody knows about that. It's a dominant.
It's
so
historically
right. So that's really where most of them coming out. Now you got kids coming out of Oregon. I'm not saying we don't get any guys drafted.
I'll give you an example.
I'm not saying that, but you got to be a stud, workhorse.
Yeah, I'll give you a perfect example. TA, your teammate who you had
here
last
UCLA
show,
guy.
Deshaun, your dude
from
your school. If they had done what they did out there, over here, for Miami, for a Florida State.
Different type of pub.
I don't necessarily know if that's true. What was the punt returner?
Are you saying D-Jack?
No, I understand that, but what I'm saying is he got drafted in the second round.
I know, but do you know what he did at Cal? You know what he was doing?
I know what he was doing in the league, but no, I'll say this.
He was doing that same thing in Cal, but worse.
That year, not too many receivers went in the first round. You can remember that's the year that Devin Thomas and Malcolm Kelly dropped to the second round. What receivers went in the first round? It may have been 2 or 3 max.
And that's what Kelly had the knee, though. He was injury.
They were in.
That makes sense.
Devin was supposed to be.
Devin was the first receiver, if I'm not mistaken.
He might have been
taken in that draft.
He might have been the first or second receiver. So there wasn't even. It may have been one receiver that year drafted in the first round. That's not a knock on Deshaun, but if I'm an NFL scout, I see what he's done. We both know that he's lightning and thunder, but he's a small guy.
But look at what he's doing
now. But a lot of coaches will tell you, and y'all know this, how do you project to the next level? Like you look at a guy like I say this, Matt Ryan. If he was like he threw 25 touchdowns and 25 interceptions his last year, but he projected to be a good college quarterback.
Yeah, it's because of this prototypical size and
that's what I'm saying.
He
projected. It's just like defensive linemen. They look at you if you don't have a long reach or small hands.
And that's stupid to me.
we understand
that
because
guys getting paid to do nothing.
But it makes no sense because you got. I don't even understand why they even. I understand projection, but if you see a guy on film destroying that
whoever's
stigma
in front of him,
or that mindset, he's 6 feet and so he's too small to play in the league, but he's destroying these cats in college. I mean, why you don't think he won't project and change?
But I'll say this though:
when you've had countless guys beat that, I guess stigma.
You and me both know there's always exceptions to the rules.
Yeah,
but we can think of a bunch of great college defensive linemen that when they got to the league, it didn't transition.
But was it physical ability or was it mental ability?
I look at a guy.
That's what most guys fall out at.
I look at a guy like, and I don't want to say
Sullivan. I mean, you was a kid out of Georgia. He didn't.
Well, Sully was lazy.
Okay.
Sully had.
But that has nothing to do with physical ability.
I know, but Sully had all the tools. Sully was 6'4", 310 pounds, ran a 4.7, strong as a bull. He just, for whatever reason, he didn't, and Coach Hazlitt drafted him.
Right.
He was lazy. Sully was lazy at Georgia. He was talent through the roof. He was more talented than Stroud, than Seymour, than all those guys. Every coach will tell you. Mm-hmm. You can watch I can remember we had 3 games in a row where he had 10 tackles, 4 for a loss, and 3 sacks. He rolled off a month against Florida, Auburn, Georgia Tech. I mean, the meat of our schedule, and that's why he was a 6th pick of the draft. But if you look at a guy that, let's say, might be 5'11" with short arms who dominates in the college level, you looking at now you playing against linemen who, Coach, I can't even get my hands on them because my arms are too short.
Yeah, no, I don't buy that either.
Huh? I say this.
Defensive line, you playing in such order. I've never had a guy where
you're a wrecking ball.
I've never had a guy where in the league when I was playing D tackle say, "Oh, I can't reach him because my arms are too short." The only time that may come into issue is pass rush, maybe.
But what if you're trying to, let's say y'all both got your hands, so we both come off the ball, we both hit. I got him locked out as far as I can go, but I can't get off the block because he still has 2 or 3 more inches on me once I do get off the block. Once I release and try to rip, he's still holding on to me.
Your gap is
going into what? You going into what? Your 7th year?
I'm going into my 7th year.
You don't have the longest reach.
I don't. You'd be surprised. I'm right there. I think I have 36, 37 inch reach.
Is that average or above average?
It might be. I wouldn't be able to tell you right here, right now.
But I don't think it's not Javon Curse. I mean,
no,
you know what I'm saying.
Talking about a guy that Nick's name was the Freak.
But what happened to him though?
He was a beast.
For how long?
Injuries catch up with you. You can't project injury on him.
Right.
I look at it like this, and I always have to go to my side of the sport as basketball. If I see a guy dropping 30 on someone in the ACC, dropping 30 on someone in the Big Ten, SEC, Pac-10, I don't care if they're the worst team in the conference. If he's scoring 30 on people in those conferences, he's a player.
Well, I say this.
I saw Deshaun destroying people.
And saying this, basketball and football are 2 different sports. Football is a team sport. Mm-hmm. Basketball, one man can take over a game.
Well,
and Deshaun Jackson was a one-man game.
Yeah, I understand that.
But back to my initial.
It's individual battles within the team sport.
You understand that? So, okay, you also know that there was not a receiver taken in the first round that year. If it was, it was one.
If Deshaun Jackson took all his stats, all his body of work, and was playing every Saturday at 1 o'clock at the University of Georgia.
See, I got a guy, I'll tell you a story right now. He didn't do exactly he's not as explosive, but his college career was pretty much the same. Not as good. He never was up for the Heisman. Mm-hmm. Fred Gibson.
Fred Gibson was nice.
And then you're talking about a guy that got drafted in the 4th round.
Fred he wasn't Gibson, as fast as Deshaun.
He was a 4.5. That's still fast.
Deshaun's 4.2.
That's not the
same. I understand that, but I'm talking about as far as productivity.
Okay.
Deshaun, but you're talking about
Fred Gibson was Freddie Mitchell. That's who he looked like in college.
No, it's Fred Gibson was 6'5".
I guess, man. My point is, even once I got to the league, I still had to fight against the stigma. And guys saw me in practice every single day. You're too short. Well, why'd you bring me in? You said I was a baller. I'm competing with these guys. Okay, I'm too short. I can't change that.
I understand.
Even Coach Bloch said, you're too short. I had to fight against that. I had to do extra stuff.
But
play beyond with anything to beat that stigma because of your height and your arms.
We've all had to fight things. I've had people tell me I'm too small. When you talking about because I'm in shape.
Because you're not a space eater.
Well, because I'm in shape and I choose to keep myself at 295. But you got to think, as a senior in high school, and we can pull up the pictures, I was 285 pounds. It's just that I never had a problem getting knocked off the ball.
Right.
Strength was never an issue.
Right.
So why do I need to
you put on more weight, you might lose everything that you
listen,
for.
I work for a boss. What the boss tells me to do, I'm going to do.
Mm-hmm.
But it's, I've had coaches tell me, well, you're not 6'5", I'm 6'4.5". That's what they measure me at the combine.
That extra inch is bad, huh?
So I'm not 6'5". So since I'm not 6'5", then I need to be 330 because they put me in the 6 foot range. It is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. But you talking about, I mean, we all have what we think are prototypical, and they got to heed to that standard.
I guess it don't make no sense to me.
It doesn't.
Buffoonery.
But back to
I
the
want to see what he gonna do. Is he a baller?
Buffoonery.
But back to the bias.
Is he a baller?
There's tons of players that get drafted out of the Pac-10.
Yeah, I didn't say guys don't get drafted out of the Pac-10. That's not what I said.
You can't really say there's a bias, though, Zoe. If you just look at statistical, there's
is.
biases
Let me
out of
ask
every
you this.
conference.
Let me ask you this. When you think of the Pac-10 or now the Pac-12,
he'll
be
call
up front.
him soft.
Be up front.
He knows.
No. I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna say that. But be up front.
He'll say it.
But see, I already know what he's thinking. Be up front. When you think of the Pac-12, are you really thinking of 1 through 12, or are you thinking of USC? You thinking of Oregon, and then that's it.
He already said it when he said Arizona.
Well,
you did say that.
Okay, but that's just like if I said.
Go ahead.
That's just like if I said we goose egged
Vanderbilt.
You're supposed to.
See, you're not supposed to goose egg Vanderbilt. No.
I'll say
over
this.
Here on the East Coast, Vanderbilt's looked at it really shy.
Or Kentucky in football.
Oh,
but
that's different. But Arizona and Arizona State are not in that same category.
Oh, but yes, they are.
No, they're not.
Arizona State is. Not Arizona. Arizona State is.
No, they're not.
Arizona.
No, they're not. When I was in school, they was in the top 25.
But that don't mean much, though.
What do you mean it doesn't mean much?
See, there again, you talking about the top 25. See,
I'm just saying when we played them, my senior year, I was top 5 school.
Actually,
I think I ranked higher than you anytime that you was at Georgia.
Oh, that's not true.
What was the highest ranking you were?
We finished the
season.
season.
This is gonna get good.
We finished the season my freshman year at number 3. We was 13-1.
Oh, okay. Your freshman, he didn't play that.
Who didn't play? Hold on. I started as a true freshman.
I'm gonna go over here to play.
No, I started as a true freshman, and I was a freshman All-American.
I was a freshman All-American, too.
I'm just telling you, I started at the University of Georgia as a true freshman.
You're a true freshman year.
We played Clemson.
We're going to have to pull it up.
We played Clemson at 8:30 at night, ESPN2.
We're going to pull it up.
Kedric Golston
6'4"
is the first guy, 97.
Kedric 97.
Kedric Golston was the first true freshman nose guard since 1994.
Okay.
Travis Stroud to start at the University of Georgia.
Okay.
I'm just stating the facts. I'm not trying to toot my own horn.
You even had my number on. I see.
Well, that was my number before it was yours. I mean, that's to be true. But
you know what though? But
I
heard both sides.
Let me say this.
Both of you are saying things that lead to it. One of the toughest.
I say this. Ignorance always creates stereotypes. So before I knew guys, because the farthest I never left Georgia. I went from Georgia to South Carolina to Florida before I started,
you about to prove my point.
Traveling. But at the same token, the West Coast has biases against the East Coast.
What?
What you mean? What people? They think everybody from the South is stupid.
What does that have to do?
Country bumpkin.
What does that have to do with getting drafted? Because NFL coaches don't really care if you're dumb or not. If you can play ball, you can play ball.
I say this. Maurice Jones-Drew, we both know him. Got the utmost respect for him.
What was you about to say before your ignorance, before you met Pac-10 guys? What was you about to say?
I'll say this. There's talent everywhere.
No. What was you about to say? What was you about to say? Just tell me what you was going to say. Before you met Pac-12 guys and you were ignorant, what were you about to say about Pac-12 football?
There's truth be told.
Yeah, what were you going to say?
That's what we want.
Man to a man, it's not close.
Okay, and what? What does that mean?
You mean physicality.
What does that mean?
You mean physicality.
No, not physical. Well, they play it nowadays. Back then, they were running the spreads before everybody else.
Who was? Not my school.
Well, the Pac-10.
No. we had pro style offenses. Guys could pass the ball.
Florida State was really who broke that out.
We didn't.
That's not true.
We didn't run spread offense
because when Florida State won 13 straight ACC championships, Mark Richt was their offensive coordinator, who was my head coach. Yeah. So he runs a pro style offense.
Okay,
but that was the closest to a spread at that time.
Okay,
where they were throwing the ball around and.
Truth be told, so
gadget running backs.
I think, and I will say this, and you can talk to any person that knows anything about football. The SEC is the best.
We understand that from top to
nobody's knocking that.
That's not what I'm asking.
What do you want me to say?
Did you fully expect Auburn to beat Oregon when they played? Unequivocally.
I'll say no.
No, of course you didn't.
I wanted them, but no, I'll say this because I played in the Sugar Bowl against West Virginia, and they beat us. You want to know why? Because
they were a better team that night.
No, well,
that when they had old boy?
They had all of them.
That's when they had Noel Devine.
Noel, all of them.
Pat White, all of them.
So we were Georgia, and this is how we thought about it. We were Georgia, and they were West Virginia. They're not even in the same ballpark as us.
Right.
Then, circumstances, our offense fumbling the ball inside our own 20 the first 3 possessions of the game and them jumping out to a 28-0 lead.
Part of the game.
Didn't help. And
y'all didn't hold them to field goal.
That's what I'm saying. That D's supposed to be so good.
And I'll say this. Well, I mean, they got 20 yards to score statistically.
I'm just saying,
field goal.
You Georgia, they West Virginia.
So
could have been 12-0.
They ended up beating us.
But you still haven't answered my question.
What is your question?
talking about West Virginia.
What is your question?
Before you met Pac-12 players, how did you think ignorantly when you were ignorant? What was your mindset? Because this is the mindset of most people.
That's what I want.
Tell me. Tell me. Tell me. What was your mindset when you was ignorant?
The truth.
My mindset, not knowing, not
knowing any experience. Go ahead.
Met anybody,
right?
right. And just seeing,
prove my point.
What do you think they were like preppy and
like
Carlton from Fresh Prince?
No,
or
not that because I watch Boys in the Hood and so. You never wanted to go to, Compton or any place like that. So
you had to be a gangbang or a preppy.
No, that's not true.
Hey, I'm going to let you, you know what? I'm going to let you think about your answer.
And that's exactly
I'm going to let you think about your answer.
I was going to get my thoughts together as we went to break. Make sure you check us out at sportsjourney.com. This is Capital Punishment. We'll be back with you.
This is not a workout. This is a revolution. This is shake weight for men, and it's going to kick your butt.
Whew, that's it.
In just 6 minutes. Guaranteed. Ordinary weights isolate one muscle in one direction, but shake weight harnesses the power of dynamic inertia to totally redefine strength training. As you shake, the weights at each end fire and recoil rapidly. This piston-like motion sends a shockwave of energy that forces your muscles to contract as many as 240 times a minute. So you build definition, size, and strength fast. And now this technological breakthrough in strength training can be yours for just $29.95. Shake weight is science fact, not fiction. A leading biomechanics research center proved that 6 minutes with the shake weight burns as much muscle energy as 42 with a standard dumbbell. You get ripped, defined, and stronger, fast, guaranteed. Call and order now, and we'll also send you this 6-minute upper body workout DVD. It's everything you need to add size, definition, and strengthen your chest, triceps, biceps, and shoulders. Technology is all about packing mega performance in less space, right? Shake weight proves it. That's why it comes with this ironclad kick butt guarantee. Do the shake weight workout just once. If your arms, chest, and shoulders aren't on fire in just 6 minutes, return it for a 100% refund. We'll even pay return shipping.
Whew, that's it.
3 exercises, 6 minutes, and the faster you shake, the more intense and challenging your workout. Think you can handle it? Then call now and build muscle and definition in just 6 minutes a day with Shake Weight for Men.
Have you ever had an idea for an invention or new product? Bill Schaefer, one of the inventors of Whammo's new Splash Wash, did. He came up with the idea while watching his children play one hot summer afternoon. Bill invented a car wash for kids. Ride through it, run through it. InventHelp submitted the Splash Wash to Whammo, the makers of childhood favorites like the Frisbee, hula hoop, and slip and slide. If you have an invention you would like to try to patent and submit to corporations and want free information that explains how InventHelp may be able to assist you, call now. InventHelp is America's largest invention company with sales offices in over 50 cities nationwide. Call InventHelp today for free information. Bill Schaefer made a financial gain on the Splash Wash. However, most inventions are not successful, and Bill's experience is not typical of what inventors can expect.
For your free inventor's information, call 1-800-619-2363. That's 1-800-619-2363.
Car owners, does your vehicle have less than 120,000 miles on it? Is it less than 10 years old? Is your current auto warranty about to expire? Well, Cover America Auto Care has a very special offer just for you. With current economic conditions causing bankruptcies and a downturn in new car sales, Cover America Auto Care now offers inexpensive mechanical breakdown coverage direct to the public. You can save thousands of dollars on auto repairs. A toll-free line has been made available so car owners can call and get a free no-obligation quote. This auto protection is backed by an A-rated insurance carrier. Plus, you get a claims department that has an A-plus rating from the Better Business Bureau. 24-hour emergency roadside assistance is also included. You will be amazed at how much you can save on future car repair bills. So call for your free, no-obligation quote now. Do not wait. Get covered today and rest easy tonight.
Let me tell you some of the reasons people get into trouble with credit cards. A job loss or salary cut, an unexpected expense, a divorce, a business loss, or even helping a family member or friend in need. As founder of Consolidated Credit, I understand that credit card problems are not about overspending. It's about emergencies and unexpected situations. For nearly 2 decades, Consolidated Credit has helped over 5 million people, just like you. The options for getting out of debt have never been better. We can reduce your interest rates and cut your payments up to 50%. The time to call Consolidated Credit is now. There's a lot of ways to get into trouble with debt. There's only one trusted way to get out. Consolidated Credit. When credit card debt is the problem, we're the solution.
Call Consolidated Credit now.
Call 1-800-445-1912. That's 1-800-445-1912.
Welcome back to Sports Journey. Capital Punishment featuring Lorenzo Alexander, my man KG, the bigger figure here with Lake Lewis as well. Remember to check us out on sportsjourney.com. Before we move on to any other things, I got to get my man's answer. He kind of been stalling me out, man. I just want to hear him say it, and just because he's the voice of the South and the East of what they really think of the West Coast. So, Kedric.
Yes, I do have that red clay pumping through my veins.
So go ahead.
I'll say this, and I'm just gonna talk factually.
No. Tell me it ain't
Speak
factually.
from the heart.
Tell me how you felt before you got to know guys from the Pac-12 and how we really get down. Just tell me what your ignorant thought was.
Now to our listening audience. Sorry, excuse me.
That's South. We think you're stupid.
There you go. and listen, and we gonna keep it like that because that's how we fooling y'all. That's how we fooling y'all.
Yeah, okay.
But
come on, man.
You talked about this is before I met anybody. I had
right. You don't have to preface it. I understand. I'm not upset.
So you brought up the point of Arizona and Arizona State and being a top 25 team.
We weren't top 25 that year.
No, I'm just saying. But you talked about
they were good that year if they're ranked that high.
You beating the top 25 team. You talked about having a nice defense, we were
dominant.
Not a top 10 defense.
We were probably top 10 that year. We were probably top 10.
If you were, you would know, though.
Huh?
You would know.
No, I don't need to gloat about things. We was out there winning games.
50 points. If your offense is scoring 50.
Yeah, because we was giving the ball back.
In order to score 50, you had to give up 35.
No, we beat Arizona 49-0. We beat Arizona State 54-0.
So how good were they really then?
They were decent. We just blew them out. We were really good. Do you know who's on our team?
Y'all had Marshawn.
Yeah, Marshawn.
J.J.
Aaronson had 2,000 yards that year, so we was doing some stuff now.
I understand that.
So don't act like we just had A-Rod, Jeff McArthur, Chase Lyman. We had some ballers.
Arizona and Arizona State, after they lost like that, were not in the top 25.
No, we kicked them out.
No, let's be up front. The competition of your wins.
See, we keep getting away from this. He keeps diluting. He's tricking us. He's tricking us.
I'm putting the information out there.
I don't want the information. I want your opinion. I don't want any facts. I want to know what you thought growing up as a Southern Georgia boy. What you thought about West Coast football.
I'm all about.
Speak for the South and the East Coast.
I'm all about people thinking for themselves. So I'm just presenting the facts and allowing you to make your own judgment.
We want thoughts. Your thoughts.
I'll say this.
Your thoughts.
I'll say this.
Stop it.
Top 25 never even came out of.
I don't want to hear about Georgia. We know Georgia's a great program.
I'm not just going to say.
We know your mindset. We understand that if you lose more than 2 games, it's bad. I understand it. I want to know.
This isn't a freestyle battle. So stop. You trying to say make up all my points before I
want to know perception, baby. Perception. Just give me that. Just give me the perception, and we can move on.
The perception was
soft.
No, not soft. I'm not going to soft for such. When you're talking about men and soft,
he's used that terminology to me before.
I told y'all that was my perception.
Okay. So go ahead.
They're not the same level of football. It's not the same level of football.
All right.
That was my perception.
And that was the majority of people's perception.
But listen, if I'm Georgia and we going to play Cal, we going there expecting to win a football game.
I understand. If I was Cal coming to play Georgia, I was coming expecting to win the football game. And we would.
Okay, I'll say this.
Just like we went to Michigan State. Went there. People didn't think we can beat them.
I understand.
Smacked them.
Losing was not an option for us. If we lost one game,
they think they're the only people that know how to win games, that want to put everything on the line.
So if we didn't win at least 10 games, the season wasn't a success.
But that's every team though.
No, that's not every team. And see, now I'm
talking about every. No, I'm talking about I'm saying. I'm talking about every team at a major conference.
You trying to get to the Big Daddy. I was trying to go to the Rose Bowl every year. I don't know. I mean that you had to win 10
this is
to 12
the perception.
games.
This is the perception. I'm gonna back both your arguments up. The perception was, and I'll go back to '95 at Penn State. That team went undefeated. When they got to the Rose Bowl, at one point they were number 1. Nebraska was number 2. Penn State struggled, if I'm not mistaken. It was a game against Michigan. They won 21-14. Okay, at the Big House, not a small feat.
Right.
But after that game, I remember what happened. It was against Indiana. They went in and beat Indiana 28-14. Joe wouldn't run the score up on people. That's what he did.
Right.
They fell at number 2. Nebraska jumped them. Penn State that year averaged, I think, like 49 points a game. Beat Ohio State 63-7. Eddie George, Heisman Trophy winner. They destroyed everyone. But what happened was they got to the Rose Bowl, and they played an Oregon team that had like 2 losses. They destroyed Oregon. Back here on the East Coast, they were supposed to do that. That's the perception. They were supposed to destroy Oregon. That was Pac-10 school.
But you're talking about – that's not the Oregon that we've all known now.
Got to know.
Oh, no, that was Gang Green that was building it up. They had turned the corner.
Yeah, but
maybe. I think they really turned the corner around 2000, 2001 when Teffer was their offensive coordinator.
No, I understand.
And they came out here. Did they beat Miami?
Well, you know he said Teffer. I know that's your guy. Yeah. I know that was your coach. That was your coach. I
was getting smacked by him, too. I got smacked by my freshman year that team.
I mean, we definitely have.
That was the perception, though.
Yeah, and I understand.
That wasn't a good win for Penn State. It was actually a bad win.
Right, and that's a general perception. That's all I want. I'm
going to lay it all out there for our listeners.
Pac-10's basketball. That's what we think.
Anyway. Nevertheless.
I mean,
you can't really say that.
Of course you can.
What you mean? Florida won 2 national championships in a row.
Nah, listen. Historically, UCLA.
The only thing historically worth is what we've lived.
Right. Is what right. See,
I'm gonna ask you. You a West Coast Pac-10
he's on his
guy?
Own little world.
Is the Pac-10 known for basketball or football?
He just told you. I mean, hoop. I would say it's more known.
Actually, I will say this. This is a point for y'all. The Pac-10, I think, has the most national championships than any other conference. Now we talking about field hockey.
No,
swimming,
man. See, you
diving.
slighting them.
really
You slighting them, man.
I'm giving them a compliment.
He's sliding other athletes that participate.
No, I'm not.
Because
Arizona just played in the championship game 2 years ago.
It's okay. It doesn't even matter.
Arizona who?
Basketball. The Wildcats.
So did Butler.
UCLA. Like past 10 years had like two championships.
They didn't win neither one of them.
I mean, no, they went to 3 Final Fours.
Yeah,
they didn't win any.
It's okay. Georgia wasn't even sniffing nothing.
You're right. We got put on probation my freshman year. We just now recovered.
It's okay, man. I'm gonna get away from this because I understand.
I'm finna make a point.
No, you're not making a point.
That's exactly
you
what
haven't made a point. I've been asking you to make your point the whole.
Okay, listen.
Last segment this
when I was in school, before I came to the NFL and it wasn't so regionalized.
Right.
We didn't have any respect for any other conference except for ours. Now, I tell you this, like if you was maybe the Big Ten, like, Ohio State and Michigan.
Give us some due.
I'm not going to say no. Y'all were awful when I was in school.
Yeah, well,
except y'all, my last year, I think
I'm
y'all
not
beat
saying
Florida
conferences.
2 years.
Y'all don't have any respect for any other conference? Y'all had teams. So, like, Miami, y'all respect
Miami wasn't good when we was in school.
Oh, y'all had missed them?
But see, this is the thing. It wasn't like Alabama was Alabama.
That's true. They wasn't.
When Shula was there, they had
just came off of probation. They were on probation.
Alabama was irrelevant for 10 years on the major college football scale.
That's not true because didn't they win a national champion? They won a couple SEC championships with Chris Samuels.
Big pro?
No, I'm talking about national championship.
Well, we did at Georgia. Whereas before Colt McCoy is the winningest quarterback in the college football history, David Green, my quarterback, was.
David Green was nice.
We didn't win a national championship, but we won 3 Eastern Division championships, 2 SEC championships.
But y'all were still never playing for all the marbles.
That's what I'm saying. So you can't – I mean, there's only one team that wins. I mean, okay, for that situation.
The greatest conference of the last decade football-wise
has been the SEC. Look at the national championship.
Wait a minute. Up until the last 6, maybe the past 6 years, because they have it. I'll give them that.
Yeah.
Before that,
7.
6.
7.
6.
Or maybe it's the last 7 out of 9.
Listen, my point being, before this last run you guys have had.
This is not a run.
No,
this is what some people would call a double dynasty.
That run was coming from the.
What do you consider?
That run was coming from the Pac-10 before you did
football.
Yes.
Who?
USC.
They had 4 or 5 years there where they were tough. How many national championships did they win?
2.
One of them was a split, though.
No.
One of them was a split.
Yeah, but it's still they still got
with LSU.
But they still got the trophy.
Exactly.
LSU played a home game in the Sugar Bowl.
They didn't decide where that game.
I know, but I'm just saying,
they won it because matter of fact, that was my sophomore year. They beat us in the SEC championship.
But what I'm saying is,
and then they
the
lost
football world was all about USC. For about 5 years, they had 3 Heismans from there.
When you talk about an historical program, of course, whenever it's just like Notre Dame. If Notre Dame wins at least 8 games, they go to a BCS game. If we win 8 games, we playing in the CarQuest.com.
I'm tired of talking about.
But no. We talking about this
because Georgia, man. You're talking about everything else besides what I want.
I already answered your question.
Okay, so it's time to move on.
What's your perception? What's the West Coast perception?
I don't want to talk about Georgia and all that.
Zoe is bitter because his senior year.
It has nothing to do with that.
When him and his guys.
But that was a West Coast bias in itself.
Can I speak?
I want to hear this story.
Itself.
And you can't even call it. You could call this like a.
And we won our game. We blow the team out like we supposed to. The end of the season, we're number 5 at that time.
Mm-hmm. Let me say it real objectively because I don't have a dog in the race.
We blow them out, and then Texas wins their game, and they jump us somehow.
So Zoe never played in the Rose Bowl.
Which I should have my senior year.
Because Texas jumped them, and when they won their game.
And our only loss was to SC who won the
and
national
they didn't
title.
play the next week, and I guess Texas won the Big 12, and they jumped them to go play for the Rose Bowl.
After Mac Brown got on TV.
Mac Brown did get on TV in politics. But, hey, you got to fight for your guys, right?
Begging.
You got to fight for your guys.
And I remember that. The Pac-10 went with an outsider over their own flesh and blood. You know what I mean?
That didn't even make sense.
But let me say this. But no, because how many –
they're not even supposed to play in that game anyway. It don't even make sense.
Texas is probably going to travel better than Cal.
No.
Come on, Zoe.
In a
LA?
home game.
Yeah.
In a home
Are you
game.
serious? To LA?
See, y'all missing the point.
We got most of our school is from LA.
I understand that, which means this.
It's the perception of Texas.
It has nothing.
Yeah, I understand that.
People gonna watch that game with Texas
all of our
playing
big games sell out. All of our big games, our regional big games, when we play Stanford, it sells out. That's 93,000. We went down to SC and played them my senior year, sold that out too. That's 93,000.
But you're talking about rivalry games.
Wow, this is the Rose Bowl. Cal hasn't been to a Rose Bowl since
50 years. No, I mean, no, I'm serious.
At
that time,
proving your point. What do you mean proving your point? Listen, you talking about history. I'm talking about what I'm doing right now.
I'll say this: when you talk about bowl games,
that's the same thing somebody can say.
It's about
you right now.
It's about traveling team.
Ain't done nothing in 20-something years.